It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood, a beautiful day in this neighbor. Would you be mine? Won't you be mine? I have always wanted to have a neighbor just like you. I've always wanted to live in a neighborhood with you, so let's make the most of this beautiful day. And while we're together, we might as well say, would you be mine? Could you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor? Hi, neighbor. I'm glad you could make it today. We're going to have a lot to talk about, I hope, in this, our third annual interview with Tribal Area. Hi, guys. How's it going? Oh, there we go. On the side. On the front. Yeah. Okay. Oh, listen to the distortion. It distorts at low volume. Watch out! Hey, Rudy, are you ready for us out there?
I have bigger problems here. I'm trying to find exactly important my wine bottle. You guys are always bothering me. Yeah. Let's just try it, right? I want it to go down. It's good to see you back here. We'll make the best of it, huh? I've got nothing to say. I've got nothing to do. All of my neurons are functioning smoothly, and still I'm a strider just like you. I'm one big biome that thinks a planet supports only me. I got this here problem where I live forever. I got a short time to stay. A modern man, evolutionary betrayer. Modern man, ecosystem destroyer. Modern man, destroying self-betraying. Modern man, pathetic example of a organic man. And when I look back and think, when I ponder and ask why, I see my ancestors spent with careless abandon, assuming eternal supply. A modern man, evolutionary betrayer. Modern man, ecosystem destroyer. Modern man, destroying self-betrayed. Modern man, pathetic example of his organic heritage. Just a sample of carbon-based wasted. Just a fucking tragic image of you and I. Well, the sheets of all the blood, for the fields are washed away. And the palaces now stand when the covers flow with hate. And the down will see ahead, and the trees are mostly new. But we know it's to admit what it is we have to lose. But any eye is coming, the modern age is here. It signifies the future, yet renders us with fear. So many theories, so many prophecies. What we do need is a change of ideas. When we get scared, we'll hide in our reveries. But what we need is a change of ideas. Change of ideas, change of ideas. What you need now is a change of ideas. This is another impression, a new way plastic trend. A lot of these symptoms up beneath them, it's all just pretend. I like this feeling, I don't know what it is. This room is all the thought of. I need it to breathe, yeah. Big bang, big crunch, you know there's no free lunch. Go down and pray, here comes a judgment day. Crunch, you know, it's gonna be quite a show. What goes around always comes around. A million hopeless faces, going and protect you all. Away from my life, they can't even take off. And it's a sore breath, my mind felt like a sin. The city is all the thought of it, I needed to live. Big bang, big crunch, you know there's no free lunch. Come down and pray, here comes the judgment day. Crunch, you know, it's gonna be quite a show. It goes around, it always comes around. I'm there, I'm coming, face it, I'm all coming up. I'm coming, look down, I'm better need to come. If you said it's money, you know when you out. There's no room left in heaven, there's sure no room in hell, yeah. Big bang, big crunch, you know there's no free lunch. Come down and pray, here comes the judgment. It does, you know, it's gonna be quite a show. It goes around, always comes around. Thank you. Here's a song called Suffer. Did you ever see the country in them every day? The lunatic diameter, all lost in the fray. Can't see your life are just like ours. And undertone and undiscovered door leading to the gift of open eternity for you. The masters of humanity have always had to suffer. The businessman who's had to find controls the world decay. Is blind to indicators of his species so decay. Can't see that life are just like yours. And undertone and undiscovered door leading to the gift of open eternity for you. The masters of humanity always had to suffer. People for their minds, they choose to reside. This deformed society is part of the design. They'll never go away. It's in the cards that way. The masters of humanity will always, always have to suffer. A door leading to the gift of open eternity for you. The masters of humanity clinging to their dignity. Masters of humanity will always, always have to suffer. Yeah. Have to suffer. Whoops.
We're out on a lake built by Adolf Hitler, and
In the middle of Nuremberg.
it's in the middle of Nuremberg. It's very beautiful here. Nazi architecture, and being Jewish, it makes me a little uncomfortable. However, I think we're all having a nice day. Greg, I was curious, how did you come up with the name Bad Religion?
Well, Brett, as you well know, that's been written thousands of times in many fanzines across America and Europe. And I think answering that question would be pure redundancy.
Another question, Greg. Some of us punks who've been around the scene for a long time are a little pissed off now that you're playing big commercial venues at high ticket prices and basically forgetting about us, your real fans. How do you respond to this?
Well, Brett, first of all, I would never forget about the people who I grew up with and the people who made it happen all at first. All I can say is we aren't changing our musical style one iota. We've been trying to put out consistently good punk rock music, what I think is punk rock. And if more people start to like it, that's not my problem. And if the original folks who used to like us fall off the bandwagon, so to speak, and drop by the wayside, what can we do to convince them that we're still trying? I don't know. It's a puzzle.
Thank you very much.
This is the guy on the scene, Greg Graffin. floating on some sea in Nuremberg, getting ready to interview Mr. Brett Religion. The red hair, the glasses, the t-shirt. He doesn't need an introduction. Just look at him. Brett, I noticed that Bad Religion is touring around Europe this year in a big tour bus. Why would you choose a tour bus over small vans, small inconspicuous vans that you could just sneak into the clubs? Is it because of the autograph thing? What, do you want people to recognize that you're popular? What is it?
Well, actually, you know, last year we had 2 beat-up bread trucks that we traveled in instead of the big bus, and they actually cost more money than the bus, so our tour manager, David Pollock, got us the bus, and we're all quite happy with it.
So you're saying it's cost, then? All you're worried about is the expense?
No, mister, I never said that.
No, I distinctly heard you say that you're interested only in making money.
I never said that. I never said for 1 minute that I was only interested in making money. Money is the... I hate making money.
Okay, I understand. Well, then how do you respond to the accusations that Bad Religion is going commercial?
Well, on a serious note, I think that's a totally ridiculous accusation. I think the evolution of our music has been progressive, and it has been...
Well, that's it from here. We're late for sound check, and I think we better hurry off. Is that enough for you fellas?
Thank you. Here's one called the Flat Earth Society. But you better believe that down in their corners they're holding up for their good eye. And a Flat Earth Society is somewhere far away with their candlesticks and compasses and a bright ship you ran as well on its way with great determination and no destination. Here's a song called No Control. Come to a seat of proliferation, but it's got it melted into an inharmonic wall, to an inharmonic wall. Consciousness is weakness and we cannot shake it. Do you think you're in control? Do you think you're in control? Questions that proceed just in life are testament of our helplessness. There's no Here's one called Operation Rescue. It's an SOS, sent out telepathically, signs up our distress. Don't allow complacency, we need restoration now. A morality, an aggressive phone reminder of our morality. The rectifying truth is here, the one needed all these years of stuff. Heinous on your ways and verify our moral benevolence and the people. Operation Rescue, they're here to right our fall. They were a trouble call. Operation Rescue, you wonder where they come from. I just wonder what compels them. Like ever after, but their business for see them hold the key to their kingdom score. Pervasive, a part of you and me, but not overwhelming as they wish it to be. If no one believed in fairy tales, they're done. They do but fail, yet everywhere we look, someone tries to reassure. Our benevolence as a people. Operation Rescue, they're here to right our fall. They've been struggle call. Operation Rescue, wonder where they come from. I just wonder what compels them all, yeah. Operation Rescue, Operation Rescue. You may wonder where they come from, but I just wonder what compels them all. I refuse to abuse what's kind to the views, but it's there and it's happening to me along the way. As we go through the snow, we'll not forget our foes, but the dinner's always waiting, the table along the way. What you seen up for me isn't what you plan to be, but we'll have what we wanted, the end along the way, and we'll cry as we try. Our brothers let us by, we strong through the ages of our chance along the way. Now we go as we show the morals in our soul. We shape it and mistaken by the fall along the way. But regret, don't forget, by love and happiness, that you're willing to be strong when they're on along the way. Like Tommy, you are free, you will not follow me. We'll see each other once more, the path along the way. Do what you want, but don't do it around me. My honest anticipation, free apathy. I sit on my ass all goddamn day. I'm in Central and void with nothing to say. What you must do all you can. Break all the fucking rules and go to hell with Superman. Died like a champion, yeah, hey. Hey, I don't know if the billions will survive, but I believe in God. With 101 I'm fine. My monitor is great, I'm running to the core. I get around the pill, you got too fast through that door. So do what you must, do all you can. Break all the fucking rules and go to hell with Superman. Die like a champion, yeah, hey, yeah.
Do you think music of resistance can be mass entertainment?
I hope so.
Music of resistance, if you break down all the elements that make up music of resistance, there's no reason that those elements can't go into a popular song.
Oh God, it should be. I mean, I don't know if it should. I don't know if you should say that it's mass entertainment, but I think that it should be educational. I think music of resistance is something that they should actually teach in school. They should teach children now why hippies in the 60s resisted the Vietnam War. They should teach children in the year 2000 why bands were singing about toxic pollutants in the air. These are all things that they kind of get whitewashed over by politicians, but it's always the pop underground. The pop underground culture is always the first to see these things exposed. You could consider maybe music of resistance the canary in a coal mine.
Protest music has its greatest potential in exposure to mass media.
What was that? I
Can-
thought you were going to
can
ask
rep-
me about Nintendo. Because everywhere I go, people come up to me and go, Super Mario, what's with this, political stuff? Let's
What
get-
level have you gotten to in Super Mario Brothers 3?
I finished it all.
Did you?
Okay, can music of resistance be mass entertainment? Yes, of course it can be.
This one's called Faith Alone. I heard a sermon from a creepy pulpit with no one in the name. I paid a visit to the synagogue and I left them feeling blame. No one could tell me what to do. No one had the ability to answer me. What the world needs now is some answers to our problems. We can't buy more time, 'cause our gender isn't bad. If your soul needs love, you can get yourself a pity. But it looks as though faith alone won't sustain us anymore. I watch the scientists throw up their hands conceding progress will resolve it all. Solo manufacture and colors every ignorant of the green peace call. No one could tell me what to do. They have nothing capacity to answer me. What the world needs now is some accountability. We can't buy more time, The song is called Heaven is Falling. As I walk beneath the valley, I shall fear no evil. The sacred King George and his rainbow cabinet, today murder is legal. God, I know that it's wrong to kill my brother for what he hasn't even done. And as a place like in the sky, it sounds like heaven is falling. It sounds like heaven is falling. You promised me a new day of dawning, not up the hill and then it's gone. But I've learned everything for hatred, shame, and horror. God, I wanna be a man, but I don't wanna die with a rifle in my hand. And as a plane back in the sky, it sounds like heaven is falling. It sounds like heaven is falling. You promised me a new day at dawning. Well, nothing here left to me. Let's go our mother's son between the devil and the deep blue sea. Heaven is falling. Heaven is falling. Heaven is falling. A little fine tuning there. Sometimes it feels like
Does punk rock change the world?
It changed the fashion world. It created a new couture. Short hair became fashionable. I think when punk started, it was a shock value idea where whatever you could do to shock anybody that wasn't ready for it, that was primarily what it was based on. I think in the later years it became something that could open people's mind. It's hard to say whether it has or has not. It's still something that's so new, even though it's already almost 20 years old.
Yes, slightly, but not. It has had no profound influence on the world.
Well, it's been going on for 15 years, so I think it has.
How do you think it's changed the world?
Just a lot of ways, I think it's changed the world. I think the attitude, it's changed. I think it's opened a lot of people up to different types of music because of it, because of punk rock. And, there became, speed metal, or hardcore became speed metal, whatever. It just did, I definitely think it opened the doors for a lot of other types of music. And it gave people the freedom to do other types of music. So I definitely think it's helped.
Does punk rock change the world?
No. No, I'm convinced of that. That's a unqualified no. You can get cosmic and talk about how it makes a lot of people think, and therefore it's made a change in the world. But, you know, at least in the Western world, people who think a little bit, and since the Western world is so dominant, if you could get people to think a little bit, you can make some people a little happier, some people more able to cope with problems in the Western world, and make a little bit of a difference.
Does punk rock change the world? I don't know. It's changed the music industry a lot because you know, if you look at the charts and stuff, there's a lot of music that has mass appeal. Getting back to that buzzword, that would have never been selling if it wasn't for punk rock, like your Metallicas and your Nirvanas, that kind of stuff.
Do you think it has changed the attitudes of people the way music in the 60s did?
Not to that much of an extent. I don't think it's changed that much.
Do you think alternative music has the potential to do that?
It does, but you know, I don't know about here, but in the United States, people are lazy. They don't get out. They don't vote. They don't participate, and they really should.
So you waste another day, got an overhang right in my hand. And you're hearing all the story about the happy time you ever had. The sun was apart, taking back and you're falling behind. And although the world rotated, some the only thing that's twisted your mind was falling apart at the wrist. And surprisingly, the leaders can't make any sense of it. You're nothing to the world, we're glad we're almost to the bottom. What can you do? Now you wasted on the road, I never get stuck in a rock and roll bow. Do you find it only money like to be with for us to allow? There's a opposite power, taking reggae and falling behind. And you watch them and they pop up every good they know that's what they're behind. See the one falling apart at the wrist, and surprisingly the leaders, they can't make no sense of it. You're nothing to the world, we're glad we're almost to the bottom. What can you do? Go! Yeah, you waste another day, got it over, and right in the head. And you're hearing all the story about the happy time you ever had. There's all the pushing power, taking back and you're falling behind. And you watch them and they fuck up every good thing on this earth with their mind. See the one falling apart at the wrist, and surprisingly, leaders, they don't make no sense of it. There'll be nothing to the world, or my we're almost to the bottom. What can you do? I said, oh, what can you do? Go! Thank you. Here's another one off of Against the Grain. This one is called Get Off. Obsidia, it's all I can think of as I drag on me searching like diogenes. Dangerous, the adjective of the decade, and now you're alluring intricacies. Yes, I see your green screen mentality, and I feel the sting of its consequence. And I know I shouldn't, but it's too much to ignore. I'm a shit I deplore. Every time I look at you, I just wanna do Here's a song called Sanity. There's a watch in my pocket and its hands are broken. The face is blank, but the gears are turning. Depression is a fundamental state of mind. It never really matters what I'm figuring out. I always end up living in this world of doubt. And sanity is a full-time job in a world that's always changing. And sanity is a state of mind that you believe in sanity. There's a shadow on the wall where the paint is peeling. My body's moving forward, my mind is reeling. Depression is a fundamental state of being. It never really matters how my day has turned out. I always end up living in this world of doubt. And sanity is a full-time job in a world that is always changing. And sanity will make you strong if you believe in sanity. See, sanity is a full-time job in a world that's always changing. And sanity will make you strong if you believe in sanity. Sanity! In a life in which you struggle for acceptance is a never-ending chore. I'm praying for your active past and present and rewarded for ideas of the future. Light up the door and send it to you when I'm along. Sorry, more dudes tonight could consider that for their reward. So what good advice have I got for you to ensure against the lightning that I'm on the system to this reprobate? Don't be a henchman. Stand on the morals. Do what no one else does and bring good upon them and for goodness sake. And when everyone else in the world follows your lead, don't go day in hell and will surely be. That's when the whole world shall live in harmony. Yeah. Watch out.
How do you see the economic situation in the United States right now?
What I see around me is frightening. The LA riots prove that the people are upset. They're tired of being held down. They're tired of a justice system that doesn't work for them. And that them is everybody. They are everyone who feels that at any given time they are subject to oppression. And that's a frightening thought. It's becoming a state where paranoia rules, and paranoia rules by way of power.
What's been happening in the United States over the last 15 or 20 years is that money has been going not only to fewer and fewer people who are in the upper class, but also money's been going away from, has been channeled away from inner city and working class populations, and has been funneled to other countries where they can get cheaper labor. And because of that, you have an unusually high number of unhappy people in the inner cities, and the working class has been ignored. And I think that has resulted in widespread turmoil, as has been broadcast throughout the Western world in the last month with the LA riots.
There's not much of a difference between the middle class and the lower class. The middle class is being edged out. There's rich, there's poor, and there's really not much in the middle anymore. Social programs have been cut, and so the middle class is suffering, and the poor, of course, are getting poorer. That make any sense? I need some more beer.
The rich keep getting richer, and the poor keep getting poorer, and the middle class is disappearing steadily. And that's my comment on the economic situation in the U.S.
Here's one called 21st Century Digital Boy. I can't believe it, the way you look sometimes, like a trampled flag on a city street. Oh yeah, and I don't want it. The things he's offering me, civilized barcode with ID. Oh yeah. 'Cause I'm a 21st century digital boy. I don't know how to live, but I got a lot of toys. My daddy's a lazy middle class intellectual. My mommy's on Valium, so ineffectual. Ain't life a mystery? I can't explain it. Some things you're saying to me, it's going yeah, 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 yeah. Oh yeah. See, I'm a 21st century digital boy. I don't know how to read, but I got a lot of toys. My daddy's a lazy middle class intellectual. My mommy's on Valium, so ineffectual. Ain't life a mystery? Tried to tell you about Okie Dokie, but yeah, I really don't know. And then you told me how bad he had to suffer. Is that really all you had to offer? Yeah. See, I'm a 21st century digital boy. I don't know how to live. I got a lot of toys. My daddy's a lazy middle class intellectual. My mommy's on Valium, so ineffectual. Gas runs boiling, iron claw. There are buckets or just screams for more. Innocent straight with a napalm fire. Everything I want, I really need. Ain't life a mystery? Thank you. All right, since you recognize that one, see if you recognize this one from the same album. This one's called Turn On the Light. I had a friend who kept a candle in his pocket. He used to fuck it when the wind was blowing high. I guess it made him feel like he could fuck the system. And when it flickered out, we ain't gonna die. Turn on the light. Turn on a million, billion, brilliant white incendiary lights. A beacon in the night. I'll burn relentlessly until my wicked die. I'm constructed around the tempered beams and trusses, and equipped it with a million tiny suns. All this stored on the roof of my compartment. I'm placing corner on the floor and on my walls, and I'll turn on the light. Turn on a million, billion, brilliant white incendiary lights. Beacon in the night. I'll burn relentlessly until my juices come. ownership. A blossoming disease, a man called tenure and accretion. Ancient Western treadmill, consumption and derision. But I want something more. Racing through a life of tragic wastage. I experienced some loss of trust and inner sand. The blowing cyclone of time has blown away our reason. We trust like climbing forward, trying to avoid collision. But I want something more.
Is there any hope for our planet?
Yes. But there's not much hope for its inhabitants.
I think things are going to get a lot worse before they get better, unfortunately. I'm doing my best to, personally to be an optimist as environmentally, but I don't think the mass of the world or the countries in general are doing what they should be. They're just thinking about their own interests rather than the interests of the whole planet.
I'm a happy guy. That's all that I really worry about. I mean, when you talk about hope for the planet, I have a very clear idea in my head about what's going to happen to the human species, just as I have a very clear picture of what's going to happen to the birds we hear tweetering as well. Just because I think that extinction is inevitable, though, doesn't mean that I can't live a perfectly happy life and share some of my happiness with other people and hope they share a happy life as well. So if you can be happy, I think hope is an irrelevant issue. Just be happy with what you got and you don't worry about tomorrow.
If everything goes the way it's been going for the past 25 years, basically all that will be left are maybe some small tribes that live in Australia or something, and everybody in the big cities will eventually flee to the countryside and do the exact same thing that they're doing to the big cities, to the country. So basically there eventually will be no place left to inhabit.
Do you believe in UFOs?
Let me qualify this answer. I believe there's other life in the universe. I just don't believe that they've got nothing better to do than to fly here in tin cans.
I am a UFO. Yeah.
Do you believe in UFOs?
Yes.
Do you believe they will land on the planet at any time?
I believe
in the
they
near future?
have, yes.
If a UFO landed in your front yard and you were asked to make a decision about whether or not you could get on the UFO and take off, would you do it?
Yeah, I'd go.
How do you think the band would feel about this?
Too bad.
Here's a song called Voo. There's a place where everyone can be happy. It's my favorite place the whole fucking world. It's made of candy cane and played in private choo-choo train. I mean, it's little boys, but there's some little girls, and you know, I wish that I could go there. That's a road that I have not found. And I wish you the best of luck, dear. Drop a card or letter to my side of town. There's no time for fussing if I feel like this. But baby, I'm amazed. Look at that you can send and you. Painted my entire world. But I don't have the turpentine to play what you have spoiled. And won't forget it. There's a place where everyone can be right. Even though you're made determined to be opposed. Admittance quite the one invitation. That's where everyone is in, it's where everybody goes. So please, try not to be impatient. For we all hate standing in line. And when the fun is good, but you'll be there without a thought. Eternity, my friend, is a long fucking time. But there's no time for fussing and fighting my thing. But baby, I'm amazed. Make that you can stand and you. Painted my entire world. But I don't have the turpentine to clean what you have soiled. And won't forget it. Thank you. We got one more for you. This one is called I Want to Conquer the World. Hey, brother Christian, with your high and mighty hearing. Your actions speak so loud I can't hear where you're saying. Hey, sister, bleeding hard with all of your compassion. Your neighbors to the hurt, but can't assuage temptation. Hey, man of science with your perfect rules of measure. Can you improve this place with that together? Hey, Mother Mercy, can your Lord live forever? Is your great kindness be a travel or a treasure? Man, I wanna conquer the world. Give all the idiots a bad new religion. But end the poverty and cleanliness and toil. Promote equality and all minus standards with wings of the eye. And God, you must be done, yeah. Hey, brother diplomat with a lowly aspiration. Didn't see the children cry, we left them at the station. Hey, moral soldier, you got righteous proclamation. And precious stones will fuel your public conflagration. Man, I wanna conquer the world. Give all the idiots a bad new religion. But end the poverty of cleanliness and toil. Promote equality, all of minus standards. I want to conquer the world. Expose the suffering, feed up to the children. Do away with that pollution and save the world. We'll have peace on earth, love of communion. I want to conquer the world. 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 Thanks a lot. We'll see you next time. We'll have a Well, let's see. Let's start this one off with Anesthesia.